Greetings, I am Live.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Yes.
Alrighty, guys, so if you're watching this series straight through, we had a hiatus between episode 8 and episode 9.
Yes.
And so we are about to dive back in, and we are so excited. Alright. Let's see. No wonder I didn't notice her till now. I always assumed Retro Arcade. Yeah, I think I'm really with the... No wonder I didn't notice her until now.
She was totally focused on the
task at hand. Yeah, I assume it'll pop into the dialogue box. I don't know.
There we go.
Oh,
all right.
No, it doesn't. That's right. You say them when you pick them.
Right.
I think, with this one. The different dynamics of different games. All right.
Yes.
This room's right at the heart of the building, but totally isolated. With the heavy doors closed behind me, I can barely hear the arcade. Considering how completely and utterly dedicated she was to that monitor, not even noticing me, I guess that's also why. But what I first noticed is her smile. Even when squinting to see the tiny components on that circuit board, even when laser focusing, she was smiling happily.
I'm Naomi Fairchild, the FUNPLEX's techie.
Yay!
Hi! Please
Sounds
meet you.
adorable.
Cute.
I was expecting Gavin, though. He usually checks up on me about now.
Yeah, well, I think I derailed him. Oh,
Actually.
he's busy doing strange things with numbers.
Ugh, yeah, that sounds like Gavin. I take it he sent you along to help? Great. Give me a hand with this monitor. It's really heavy, and I'm still paranoid about dropping it after what happened last time.
Oh dear. Did you drop a monitor before? Really? What happened last time?
Oh, well, I dropped it.
I'm afraid of dropping it. I'm really afraid of given what happened last time.
That is so like a work thing that I swear to God we ran into on more than one occasion at the old job that both my friend and I were at for a couple of years. It was so funny. People get like, I'm so afraid of, like, I'm so paranoid compared to last time. You're like, what happened? Well,
I
broke. It was dropped, you know,
I
kind
love
of
it
thing.
sometimes we're like, I'm afraid of dropping this. Will you help me carry it? Because I don't want to repeat what happened last time. What happened last time? It was dropped? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I have also been that person going,
Right.
God, I'm so paranoid, so you really want to keep your hands on this. It's really important. Well, God, what happened last time? I mean, it fell over.
We just kind of rolled it on its side and everyone was sad.
God, I remember doing that with giant, like, 5-gallon buckets, so big, huge white buckets of oil. That was me.
And
I've done that once in the 2 years that I was there, so thankfully, I only did it once.
And the thing is for most people working in that job, which we were in manufacturing, that like everyone that we trained in that station, while I worked there for 3 years that I did, they would spill something big once.
Yeah.
And then after that, they're like, okay, whatever I did, I'm not doing it again because it's such a big mess to clean up.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's like, okay. Oh, right. She helps me lift the large cathode. I mean, I help her, really.
Yeah.
Lift the large cathode ray tube, slotting the heavy metal framework into place with the exposed guts of the nearby arcade cabinet.
I am super entertained that our character knows what a cathode ray tube is.
I'm actually
I don't know
curious
what the
about that.
crap that is. What is a cathode ray tube?
Okay,
Look
so
it
as
up.
far as I know, your big bulky monitor, like the one behind her, is your tube monitor, like a tube TV. So your cathode ray tube is what creates the projection in them. So if you've ever taken one of those monitors or one of the TVs apart, it has this sort of lengthy, sort of like roundish experience right behind the screen that sort of, goes out, which is why you need the box around it. That's your cathode ray tube. It terminates in the screen. But my dad built computers, so I know a little more about that. On the other hand, that particular phrase makes me want to know more about our main character and what their background is. And their background with, like computers and stuff, with tech.
Honestly, though, I also appreciate it because they are going with that thing of going, hey, by the way, your characters basically are inundated with the culture of, by the way, arcades are the #1 thing.
I was gonna say,
so everybody kind of having a passing knowledge is not a bad thing.
I was going to say, it's just passing knowledge, like knowing what a bus is, because of the culture.
Right? They did also, though, mention, remember, where we were good at arcades back at our old town, so we had that experience. So.
I was going to say, and the thing is it just makes me want to know more about it, to just use it really casually kind of thing.
It's...
And, like, I enjoy having a character that's not a blank slate, like, where you still clearly can tell them who they are right now, personality-wise, but they have had things happen to them in the past. Like, I get so tired of characters where they're like, fill in anything you want, past, present, and future, but also limited dialogue options.
There's also the fact, though, so sometimes, for my experience, the reason why that's also a lot of fun is because it gives you a starting point. It gives you something to jump off of. Because no character getting to the point that they are, you're going to run into them and go, yes! And then you know, and then
then
they expect you that they have nothing blank there, like they have nothing to go off of, and
Like,
you're like, that's
everything's
ridiculous.
blank.
You wouldn't have been able to function.
Right? How did you
know?
get to here without having any details at all?
Like,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
that thing where nature versus nurture, and I feel like people really do not comprehend the level of... So, it's a sociology term of nature versus nurture about personality development, and they talk about how your environment affects you growing up. And then, so as your environment, your nature, affects who you are as a person very, very strongly.
Okay,
I mean, a lot of
that's
people
your
go...
nurture. Your nature is your genetics.
Oh, shit, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Nurture
No.
is what you're exposed to. Nature is
Thank
what
you.
you're equipped with. It's
I'm
all
a
right.
good
Anyway,
fuck.
so,
I think that-
nearby arcade cabinet.
All right.
Once done, she starts hooking wires back up to the other wires. There's a surprising number of green circuit boards in that largely hollow wooden shell. Yeah, arcade boxes are interesting because the ones that I've seen inside from when I was around like old arcades and stuff like that is like there's not a lot necessarily in the cabinet. It depends on how complex and basically computer like hardware intensive the game is. For the large part, mostly the cabinet is so big so it can make ease of playing with your average height person.
Right, it's trying to lift it up to a certain height.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then create an aesthetically pleasing like experience outside of that, including you know leaving room for ad banners and stuff like that, making itself appealing
I
in
was
the
about
arcade.
to say advertisements.
This is the first time I've seen inside one of these things. It's weird. Lots of empty space, a couple large slabs of circuits, and that beefy monitor.
Ah.
Why is it so empty in here? Maybe we could fill it with nacho dip. Oh my god. It's the first time seeing the guts of a game. I think I just asked, why is it so empty in there? That sounds very natural.
Sure, why not?
Especially based on the whoa. Yeah.
Right?
Why is it so empty in there? Seems inefficient. Couldn't you pack more games into the arcade if it was more compact? Okay, I've seen a few of those where the cabinet has like 12 games in it,
Right.
and you get to select which one you want to play, especially like an arcade's classic arcade box, and they're kind of cool.
I have never. So this is actually unique for me of going like I've been exposed to definitely arcade games and I've been exposed to like literal arcades for arcade games.
Right.
But it's like I've never spent a lot of time around people basically trying to fix them or put them back together.
I haven't seen a whole lot of that, but I've been in... What is it? Like, I've been in spaces where basically, you know, you're in your low income space and, you know, or you're in like day camp and stuff like that and they have arcade games. And then you have your camp counselors that can open them up and put on free tries. So you see inside the arcade cabinet.
Oh, see, and I never dealt with that at all. What I dealt with was a lot of people
Or when they
who
fix
had
it.
their own arcade cabinets.
Okay, I would say, or when, you
Because,
know, you
you
get
know,
a quarter jammed.
They're really expensive, some of them.
And then they come and open it up so they can unjam the quarter slot.
Right,
So you can
yeah.
see the inside of it there. I would say, but there were a few times where, like, there was a game series that had 3 or 4 games in it, and then later you'd see an arcade cabinet that had all 4 of them, and you could choose which one to play.
Right.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, so we finally have lines from Naomi, and I guess I will play her too?
Sure,
so why
go
not?
for it. She seems bubbly and fun.
Right? Not really. It's more about the footprint on the floor than the vertical height.
Naomi keeps working, using a pocket multimeter to check various connections as she speaks.
Let me
I don't know what a pocket multimeter is, though.
I do not know what that is either.
All right.
I mean, compare American and Japanese cabinets. Ours are designed for standing players, so they have to be upright, even if that means an empty base.
There we go. Just what I was talking about. Yes.
Japanese candy cabs are shorter, so you play sitting down, but I prefer American style. Ours have more room for art.
Ah, your point as well.
Ah!
Yes. This is so much fun. She closes up the rear access panel, closing it with one of the many keys on the keyring on her side, then steps back to admire her handiwork. All right, we were right. A lot of them are for arcade cabinets.
Yes.
Because we did theorize about, are they for opening 900 doors? On the other hand, so these arcade cabinets over here, I'm familiar with ones that open from the front. So having one that she's working on open from the back is one that I don't know if... I guess I've only seen it once now that I dig through my memories, and it really was the entire back of it, like almost a human height door that they opened up on the arcade machine. It was a little wild because you could see the back of the monitor. And
Yeah, and
everything.
like most of the ones that I've ever been exposed to, I think it's just been the front
The little
experience.
door
the
on the
front
front,
panel.
yeah,
That's largely what that is.
There's a genuine joy in that smile. Not just at a job well done, but at looking at the whole thing like it's a fine sculpture. Okay, that's adorable.
Beautiful.
Oh, I love the classic Midway style. Look at those sharp angles, the side art decals, the bold front on the marquee, the bezel artwork.
You're an adorable nerd. You're like,
So cute.
I know eras of these things, and I can recognize manufacturers, and I know all the ins and the... I love them. These are my babies, and I have named them all.
Yes.
Kind of thing. Because this is, you know, such and such era this game kind of thing.
Right?
The what on the what and the what artwork. I'm surprised that we know exactly what her tools are, but don't know what the inside of a cabinet looks like,
Right.
or what, what those other terms were.
It's a
I'm like, you were real specific. She pulls this kind of tool out of her pocket, and specifically these things. And I'm like, there's a level of mix of going, I know exactly what that is. I know exactly what that is. What are those big green circuit boards? One of those is a motherboard? Oh,
Yeah, right? So there's a little bit of what I would call some incongruity, but people really can have basically weird abstract bits of knowledge where you're like, you know about this, but you don't know about this. You're like, yeah! Or at least I know what it's called.
Right? Going,
Right.
I totally recognize that one thing right there. And
I
got nothing. With a sigh, Naomi points out key features to me.
The strip across the top with the game title, that's the marquee.
I knew that one.
That artwork that wraps around the monitor, that's the bezel.
I didn't know that.
I mean, you see it too, right? How beautiful and cohesive it all is, working in harmony to give this game its own unique feel, its own experience.
I mean, that is graphic design as well as like packaging or product design.
Right.
Like right there at work, making it appealing and making you want to go check it out. You know what frustrates me sometimes? When there's such good packaging and advertising on something, you go, that looks so cool. And you're like, but I know what that is and I know what the content is. But the way you're advertising it makes it look new again.
Right?
And interesting. As for me, bunch of weird looking boxes in a row looks ugly. No, I agree. It's beautiful in its own way. I think so. You're the resident game historian, because I don't feel either of those other ones very much.
Sure.
I'll admit, despite playing games when I was a kid, I never really thought about what went into them. So sometimes the dialogue is there, and sometimes it's not. And I find that interesting, honestly. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Pardon, we're getting a bunch of alerts.
Go away.
It's alright, back on the screen, we're good.
Okay, well, it'll go away here in a second.
Yep, alright.
Haha!
I never really thought about what went into them. I've always thought of games as, well, just games. Ones and zeros on a chip, right? Not works of art. Artworks, plural works of art? Or is artwork plural already? That's very cute. Actually, it's a very cute little, like verbal stumble, and I love it.
Right.
But I guess I can see why you'd feel that way.
You work here long enough, trust me. You'll learn to love these games like I do too.
Just so enthusiastic.
It's not about nostalgia, it's about appreciating the work that went into it. The craftsmanship, the multidisciplinary effort just to make a game what it is. Graphic design, electronics, music programming, even carpentry.
I was waiting for the carpentry to be put in there, and it's so good.
You know
and the graphic design, like, this is a really complete description of what is involved. And the thing is, like, even if you're making something like a loaf of bread to put on a shelf at a store, like you have graphic design for the packaging, but then you also have a packaging, like an advertisement department going, what are we trying to show off about this product? Then you also have, like, your functional experience of it. Like, you get your engineers involved. Like, your whole thing of getting a thing out there is a big deal. Like, it's a lot of different departments and people.
I think also at the same time, what delights me personally about stuff like this, though, is the acknowledgement that this is art. Like, this is truly art. And to me, that's the thing that I've expressed frustration with over the years, of people going like, it's not art, it's this thing, it's just, putting together mechanics, it's just, doing that. I'm like, that is art. You are doing presentation. You are making aesthetic choices. You are making also choices for the benefit of the person. That is an art. That is a skill. That is amazing. Good job.
Yep. All right.
Games deserve our respect. And as long as someone like me, with a deep love for games, is on duty, they shall not fail. Even if Gavin's still around.
That grumpy face. I love it. Look at her face. All right.
It's so cute.
Gavin. You mean Mr. Stuck-Up? Oh, I mean, what's wrong with Gavin?
I don't know.
Okay, well, don't get me wrong. I can get along with him, generally, but his whole attitude is just, no. All he cares about is money. He keeps the arcade running, yeah, but I just know if he had his way, he'd got the whole place. If anybody's gonna ruin the Funplex, it's him. Mark my words. It's inevitable.
So, he's not all that much fun, I guess.
Except that based off of what we've seen from Gavin, that doesn't sound really accurate either, and our character's going...
it was like, our character's actually, I was like, that doesn't sound, that is her opinion of him, very clearly. You know what actually I like about this? One, we're not agreeing with her, but two, like, that we've already gotten a picture of him before we get her impression of him.
Right.
And so it's kind of a cool setup to go, you get these pictures of these characters to form your own opinions, but it also creates an awareness of their relationship between each other.
Right.
So in these kind of games all the time, you meet a lot of different different characters, and they're all assumed to know each other, but you never really get to know what their relationships are at all. What they think of each other, how long they've known each other, whatever. Even in some way they kind of talk about it, it's only really ever been implied that they know each other, not really in any detail.
See, I was going to say, like, yeah, that's really common, for example, like in My Nurse Girlfriend that we've been currently playing during the time
We've
that
been
we're
working
recording
together
this.
this whole time!
Hey! But the thing is they don't really seem to have much of an opinion of each other, and there isn't really, like, any, like, character interpersonal relationships there. They're really just sort of window dressing to the experience of the main character, and that's kind of it.
And if you go to the Arcana, there's an experience of going, yeah, these characters have known each other, and a couple of them have even been involved, but there's no real sense of them talking about what they think about each other.
Right? There's also, I think, like, at least for me, there's a weird element of also, like, they're so congenial for the most part. It's a little
If I'm
alienating.
talking, like, about your experience with them or what I want, it can be over there emotional. But if I'm just talking, like they don't even really talk about each other except for in reference to something.
It's weird.
It
Yeah,
is a little
like,
bit
we
weird.
don't
It's a little
even...
hollow. It's like,
Yeah.
again, it's that piece of, like, it can be very complex to write a multidimensional world with people that know each other, but one of the pieces that I'm seeing missed a lot in these sort of dating games is that all the characters that know each other don't seem to actually interact with each other in any kind of natural relationship kind of way at all.
Right?
All right.
I honestly, though, really like, actually, where stories, so I don't know how often it happens, but I've always really loved the idea where it's like, if you don't, for example, as the main character, pursue a relationship with a character, so a couple of the characters actually go off and they develop their own relationship together.
Oh,
like, it
okay,
actually
that's
changes
cute.
the dynamics. It was done in Dragon Age 3, actually,
That was
where
awesome.
if you don't pursue one of the two characters, and basically they just go up and they end up together.
They date each
And
other.
I was like, that's great. That's pretty cool, actually, that they have
It
their
also
own lives.
suggests, that they have their own complex lives outside of you, because the only thing I've seen in dating games is basically the other characters no longer exist after you choose.
Right? And you're kind of like, but they were my friends, or I spent time with them. That's the other thing. So, again, I
bothered me
apologize
in
for
My
bringing
Mystic
it up.
Dragons, actually.
Right. Well, the fact that you're just kind of like, also, the characters don't seem to have much going on, like, even, like, say, with the Arcana. Like, I appreciate that you're on a certain route kind of thing, but I've noticed it even with other games. It's like, if you try to focus on one character, they really don't have anything to do with each other.
Right.
And that's just
Okay.
that.
Doesn't sound right. He seemed easy enough to get along with, and what's more, Gavin gave me that whole speech about protecting their dreams. This looks like a pretty sore point here. A long-standing argument that the new person really shouldn't get involved with. I'm having a hard time sometimes telling if I'm talking or if I'm thinking.
Right.
I'd like it to be a little clearer, or I need to notice either what the demarker.
There's no name up here, and there's no thing.
That's
So-
it. Thank you. I'm just like, I need the demarcation.
I
Yeah.
thought that was easier to observe, because
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that the icon goes away and
Right,
it
right.
doesn't say the name.
And
of
I
your
just hadn't
character.
picked up on it yet. Okay.
You're fine. Okay.
And yet,
I'm here to support you.
thank you. I appreciate that. It's really helpful to have a support system.
You are welcome, darling.
I'm involved, aren't I? I have to work with both Naomi and Gavin. So I'm not sure I should prod at it, but I kind of want to know, too. Don't rock the boat. Clear the air and find out more. Let her keep talking. I think finding out more, actually.
Sure.
Just kind of like I could let her keep talking, but it seems like she's in a natural pause if I was able to think that much.
Right? I would also say, at least for me, in regards to something like that, I could totally get the perspective of not wanting to get involved. There's plenty of people go, I'm just going to work, fuck that, we're not going to get involved. But there's also the thing, too, where you're going like, if this ends up becoming a point of conflict, this could potentially be really bad for your experience. So even if just finding out to basically better take care of yourself isn't always a bad idea.
So one of the things that I've done is when I'm trying to find out about basically people hating each other, it's basically to know how to stay out of the way. Because if you don't know what it is, you don't know how to not interact with it.
Right.
Sort of, you need context for everything.
Right.
All
Okay, so we're going to
Clear
clear the air
and find out more.
Yeah, see, here's the name lies and then the...
Yeah, I see it. Thank
You're
you.
fine. No.
Awesome. That's very helpful. All right. I knew there was a demarcator. I just didn't know what it was.
Plus, also, quotation marks.
That helps. All right, cool. I get this is touchy, but if I'm going to work here, I think we should all be honest with each other. No gossiping? Bye, Mouse. So, I gotta know, why do you think Gavin wants to destroy the arcade? He buys into Francine's ideas that this is a place for dreams.
He says he does, but he's willing to sacrifice way too much just to keep the whole thing afloat. Road to hell, best intentions, etc. Which can sometimes make sense.
He's a whole wet blanket,
right?
is what I'm hearing.
He's unfun. If he had his way, this place would be like Deco's Palace. Nothing but ticket games and price catchers. He thinks actual video games are too expensive. A waste of floor space. I bet he'd remove them all if he had his way. I just don't trust him. I don't trust him to do the right thing. Which is fair, and people are sometimes allowed to have that opinion, because also sometimes there's this level of going, I don't trust you because I don't think you know what you're doing.
Or because I feel like your motivations are essentially very very limited.
Right.
Like or basically the crux of your motivation can't lead you to somewhere that I would enjoy.
Right.
Kind of thing. Like even like I appreciate that you want something, or basically that your practices, whatever it is. Yeah, I feel that.
Right. That's my problem, not yours. Sorry to drop gossip on your head like this. Thanks for hearing me out anyway.
I actually like that outcome of going I like the way our MC like Liz approached it, going, I feel like Liz, huh? But anyways, just going
It's okay, it is about you right now.
But it wasn't like judging and going like no gossiping. It was just like, hey, this is clearly a piece of gossip, so let me just label what I think that is so you can get to know me in the workplace.
Right.
And then go, I appreciate this is a thing, so sort of give me a heads up where I need to be as far as an employee is concerned.
Right.
Like I liked that, the way that was handled.
Honestly, I also do really have to say that I appreciate this of going like, even though I guess it seems maybe like it's a little bit too safe, because this seems like a really well-constructed awareness of like, I know what's kind of going on.
Very
and some people
comfortable.
can really do that, but it's also really nice to just kind of walk into with people being aware kind of their issues, but also still being kind of distinctly their own character kind of experience without it sounding like, you know...
Completely performative?
Yeah.
Or very hollow. This dialogue feels very natural. Like, we've had a lot of problems in My Nurse Girlfriend with that dialogue feeling incredibly fake
and performative
and forced and performative. Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, guys.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Yes. So if you like what we do, please feel free to join us. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you're having a good time with us. Please feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or Patreon. Got some links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I'm so excited to get back to the series.
Yeah.
And I have been Liz.
And it was great playing with you.
Bye.